everybody to the StephSellsHomes podcast show. I really want to thank everybody, all my listeners who are here week by week. Today I have a very, very special guest. Her name is Vanessa McCaffrey. She's an amazing mother, team player. She's a realtor. She's killing it. And who else better to talk to than all things real estate and ADUs? And we're in motherhood and mindset. We're going to talk about a lot of dope stuff today, but I want to give her the highlight today and dedicate this podcast to her. Thanks to her, I have a podcast today. So welcome, Vanessa. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell people who you are and what you're all about?
Yeah, well, thank you, Stephanie, so much for having me. I was so excited to join. I remember when we first did this, and it was so much fun, and it was amazing. You're such an inspiration to not only women but mothers, and being a realtor, it just feels like it all aligns. So yeah, I'm so excited to be here. And I am a mother, realtor, wife. I am, no, and I'm part of an amazing team called the Serene Team. We focus on Los Angeles real estate, primarily West Hollywood and Northeast LA, but wherever the buyers or sellers take us, we go. We know the market very well throughout Los Angeles. All of us are raised in LA and LA proper, so we love it. And my role on the Serene Team is I'm the listing director, so I focus mostly on the creative end, the marketing end, the video production to the staging, and setting up sellers' homes to really be able to maximize the market that you guys have right now, and as far as the leverage is concerned. And then as well as making a creative push with it. Like, everyone does the most basic things, and I think it's important in this market to really be creative in what you're trying to sell and what you're trying to present to the world, to make sure that the buyer that comes through the door is someone that most likely is just inspired by your house and wants to live and do whatever they can to be there. And then as far as us concerned, being able to guide those sellers through that process. And then on my buyer side, I love y'all, because there's nothing more amazing than giving buyers keys. It is amazing. It's the thrill of my life, and I'm sure you and I both totally feel that. But
oh, hell yeah. I mean, honestly, that's the best part of this whole thing, right? And number one is the freedom of time, and the fact that we get to control and dictate our schedule, but we need a lot of structure for that. And I mean, talk about how important is the team, right? This whole team concept. You're the listing director, but there's so many moving pieces, and I want people to really understand like what all goes and plays a part into having a listing go live, all the prep work that goes before, during, and after. And you're super creative. I see you with your staging and the whole marketing, but you couldn't do all that without a team to back you up, right? So talk about how important, what made you, first of all, first you got to vet out which team you're going to work with, right? And both you and I have worked with teams. I've managed teams before. So how did you vet the Serene Team, and why did you choose to go with Kyle, who I don't know personally, but he seems like super dope.
He's amazing, dude. Okay, so to be honest, I am such a feeling person. So for me, my gut drives me everywhere I go. When I first started real estate, for some odd reason, I wanted to go to Keller Williams, downtown LA. I don't know why, I don't know when, but I knew that's where I wanted to go. So from that point on, when you join Keller Williams from the beginning, you get a mentor. And Kyle happened to be my mentor at that time. And he was super knowledgeable and really guided us, and was super creative, really fun, really cool, and really helped me develop my skills today. Cut to 2019, I believe. End of 2018 into 2019. Yeah. I was in Atwater Village. I had my baby, and I was just like, God, I need something different. I need support. I'm over here writing 50 letters a day. I have a baby, and I'm like door knocking, and I'm calling, and I'm doing all the things. And I feel like I'm just not getting where I needed to be. And with having a team, I didn't really know what that was. I was kind of intimidated. A lot of times you don't want to feel like you're not doing the most you can. And I think a lot of times in real estate, there's a lot of social media involved where we kind of pretend. But in the reality, I was really trying to project that I wanted something solid. I wanted structure. I wanted accountability. And you have that for yourself, but you don't know how much you actually need that from other people. So one time, I'll never forget this, that Kyle posted something on social media like, I'm really looking to grow my team in real estate, and, I'm looking for qualified, agents. And I was like, oh no, that's not me. Like, I'm not good enough. I haven't done enough and I haven't whatever. And then I was like, you know what? And I was feeding my baby and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to say me. So I just said me. And then he's like, you're exactly who I've been looking for. You enjoyed. I'm like, what? Oh my God. And literally it was the most amazing experience from day one. I followed up with him almost every other day being like, have you talked to your coach? Have you talked to your coach? I'm ready. I want to go. I want to do this. Immediately when we started, it was, obviously we started from the ground up. We had ideas of what we wanted to do, and all of us were so motivated to be able to get that done. So we have an amazing director of operations, Pilar, who developed all of our systems, all of our checklists, where every listing has every part of a listing, every part of a buyer, every part of an escrow has a checklist. And we are all on one system where we all just follow through. And it's such an amazing experience. For instance, also too, as a realtor, when you want to go on vacation, or let's just say you want a day to yourself or a day with your family, you have someone there to help you, perhaps, go show houses or comp something really quick, or I comp, it's such a great just teamwork. And to have those people in your life where you can relate to on a business level, you can talk about the market with people besides your friends and family that have no idea what the hell you're talking about and stressing out about. You have a team that you can go to just get creative, find out different ideas, networking events, different podcast situations. It makes you feel like you belong somewhere and that you're going somewhere. Because when you get your license, they're like, here, have a great one. And you're like, what do I do now? They say, go to Keller Williams. So you go to Keller, you do all the things and you're like, how do I get business? I have no money. Like, how am I supposed to do all this? But when you have a team, you have everyone contributing to your business, to everyone's business. And so it has been a game changer, girl. From the moment I joined March of 2020, when it was insane, it was like, COVID hit, and I've never been more busier in real estate. And I've never done more deals in my life. And it's just like such a blessing. And I owe Kyle everything for taking a chance on someone that was a new mom, that was like trying her best, had to move to, all these things happening. And it was just it's so amazing having that team to just really support. And there are times where it's like, I don't like this, let's adjust that, let's fix this, let's fix that. It's live adjustments, live pivoting. It's just you're constantly figuring out the best ways to kind of get things done.
Oh my God, I love that. Live pivoting, like, bam, that you nailed it there. Dude, you have to constantly be that way. And I think as mothers, we kind of underestimate how fucking built we are for being a realtor, right? Because it takes a lot of tenacity, a lot of grit, a lot of patience, a lot of understanding and being empathetic of the other party and how they're feeling, because we're constantly managing emotions and expectations, right? I'm a very emotional person just like you. I'm a high S, high I. So don't talk to me about numbers, and I'm not super direct, but I'll talk to you all day. I love to network, right? Like, that's me. That's how we vibe, know? And so it's very difficult to think that you've got to take all these hats off. And, when I went from 9 to 5 to then becoming a realtor for a team and now becoming a team leader and having my own team, it's a lot of confidence building. And I see Kyle does an amazing job of that, and that's why you obviously enjoy working there with him. Pivoting conversation here. So talking about that, I think part of your team is your husband too. Talk about how important is that structure at home, because we talk about the team structure with the business side, but I don't think that any of that would have been possible if you didn't have a great structure at home. I think you have an amazing supportive husband. I see your mom, I see your family. Like, how important is that as being a mom, right? Because we already have the role of being a mother, which is the most important one. But then you got everything else, the whole 90% of people only see the just solds just listed on Instagram. You guys don't see the 90% of work, the consistency, the no's, the rejections. Like, how do you overcome all that and block out all that noise? You got to tell me that at home. It starts at home. Like,
I gotta say that, like, since, and we'll get into this too, but it's like, since our move to Bakersfield, and I do some work here, but I mostly work in Los Angeles, so we make that drive 4 to 5 times a week, and we take turns. So able to do a lot more business in Los Angeles based on being like knowing our schedules and being able to know when we need help. And we are very blessed to be able to have our family there to be able to like watch Mateo for a couple hours while we go do a showing, write an offer, comp a property, and then get back to mommy mode or get back to daddy mode. And I think our structure is just having a very solid calendar and being able to be communicative when we need our own time. And sometimes the rejection can be very intense, especially when you're representing buyers and representing sellers when you're going out and it's like, you know, you're having a babysitter, you're running to a listing appointment and you're putting it all out there. And sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they cancel and you're like, oh my God, but it's all just the love of the business and the freedom. And when I say freedom, I just mean the choice that we have to do what we want to do and to spend time with our family when need be. We can be at all the parties. We can be at all the events that we need to. We can be there for all the important times. Yes, it gets stressful. And yes, there's a lot of rejection, but what you get at the end of it is just so much option. You know, it's an option that we have. And I think like I'm very blessed to have my husband who works on the investment side. He shows houses, he writes offers, we comp properties together. We're always talking about our business and thinking about what we can do to amplify our life and amplify what we're doing in real estate. We have big plans, not just buying and selling, but, you know, BRRRRs and long-term generational wealth investments. And that mindset and that like alignment is where we constantly need to come back to, because I'm not going to lie, we're still in a relationship. We're still a husband and wife, and there's things he needs, there's things I need. So having that balance, also having the balance of work, also making sure we're there for our child is very important. And it's a juggling act. We are always trying to find, I think, as entrepreneurs, that life balance. But I think it's having a really strong calendar that you live and breathe by, that everything that you need to do in a day is there, and you make time for your family and you put that in there, and no matter what happens, you're there for them. 6:30, you know, yes, there's times where I do need to take calls. There's times where clients are only available after 6, but this is communication at that end of the day. I hired an assistant as well that has been my partner in crime. She's not an assistant. I never call her that. She is my partner. Without her, that extra support to do the admin, to do all that little things that I can delegate my time to, like more lead generating, which is what I do. I don't want to be spending time doing the admin work. And you have to know as a realtor, where you get paid how much per hour, and what does that cost for you? You need to make sure that anything that needs to be done by perhaps, you know, an assistant or someone that can help support you, send out properties, you know, being able to delegate escrows at certain times, setting up inspections, doing these things can be done by someone else. You focus on the money. The escrow can be handled. Everything can wait. The Zig Ziglar said this, everything can wait until 12:01. You get what you need to get done first, then you deal with the putting out the fires. And I think that's the biggest lesson, not only from the team, but what me and my husband kind of do. And then having that support system as having an assistant as well. That's really helped with everything.
Dude, I gotta unpack some of that. Hold on. So the calendar stuff, fire. I live by my calendar. I live by my calendar. Every 2 to 3 hours, I have it time blocked for Realtor Mom, podcast, you know, team leader. And I was talking to the team right now before this podcast, and we were talking about that. I'm not married. You know, I got divorced back in 2017. But I always tell people who are looking to get into real estate or looking to even tap in with the real estate team, make sure that at home, you start there. Make sure that whoever's at home with you, your spouse or whoever it is, that they're on board with your vision, with your goal setting, right? You got to attach goals to the reason why we do what we do every day, right? We're not out there talking to people and putting ourselves out there just because. I mean, let's be real. We obviously want to make meaningful connections, but at the end of the day, we do this for a living and for a business. And so you've got to be strategic with your time. You have to be super intentional about who you surround yourself with. And you've been doing an amazing job. I think Kyle has created such a culture, more than all the systems and processes, which is awesome. All of that, you need to leverage that. And that's exactly why you would want to consider a team, right? Is leveraging so many different skill sets and kind of enhancing your skill set to light, but most importantly, it's the culture based. I feel like he brings a lot of confidence. I've seen Joy's confidence as well. And how was that transition from his job going on to like being part of the Serene team? Like, how was that?
It was really, really scary. I'm not going to lie to you guys, okay? Because we had consistent income.
Wait, but for context, tell the people. I mean, her husband was working a job, and they literally like are now both realtors trying to juggle a business. And so, I mean, even just making that pivotal change is major. For most people, won't even do it. Let's start there. So, what made you guys want to take that leap of faith? Because it really is a huge leap of faith. But how'd you guys overcome that?
Well, from the very beginning, we've always been obsessed with houses. We used to, date nights was going through beautiful neighborhoods and like looking at architecture, designing in our minds what our house would look like. We manifested our house that we're currently in right now. And it's crazy. So I've always known that. And he took the leap of faith with me. And he said, look, I was working 3 jobs at the time and then doing real estate. He was like, if you love real estate, you need to focus. And I was like, well, but money and da-da-da. And he goes, no, let me have the burden of the money part. You go and you hustle. And it took me about 1.5 years in order to, and I was doing deals, but to actually put it in our pockets where I can go pay for dinner somewhere, it took a minute, right? So he gave me time to have that and to really hustle to get to where I'm at today. Now, cut to now, I was like, look, now it's your time. And he was like, he was getting into his job. He's like, look, we're both making enough where like we have a good savings and we're able to really rely on that right now while I go start my business, and it's now on me. So we're taking our turn. He's taking his time. I'm taking my time. I took my time. It's now his time to be able to exercise that. Now, is it easy? Hell no. This market is nuts. And I think sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming because, you're like, I don't want to be the financial burden is so stressful. It's really stressful. And sometimes I'm like, I just want to be a mom, or I just want to be this, or like, I wish I could do that. But at the end of the day, it's like the end goal is not right now. Like right now is the hustle. This is the part where we're going to be talking about later on. We're going to be like, remember when we did that? Remember we had to move here to amp up to, we're all these other things. It's like we are just focusing on the end goal. It's important for me and it's important for us to remember the vision. Why are you doing what you're doing today? It's hard as fuck. Don't get me wrong. It is hard ass business and it's hard to break through. And Joy is doing more of the investment side where he's going out and hitting up distressed homes. He's wholesaling, he's looking at BRRRRs, he's looking at investments for our long generational wealth. Me, I do the buying and selling, and I make sure that our bills are paid, we have savings, and we're doing all that while we're working on so many other things. So we have our place, and as he helps me in real estate, it's just getting, just breaking that barrier. There's always that. Right now, I feel like we're at the edge where we're about to hit gold and we're just at the dirt and we're just like, there's no more. There's nothing more. And we're like, we're like, no, keep trying. And that there's that gold at the end of the tunnel. We just need to keep going. And that's where we're at right now. It's a beautiful time. It's the most kind of creative time I think I've ever been in. And I think both of us together are just really just trying to live that dream and that vision that we had since we first met. So it is hard.
Right. It's not easy. It's just like trying to juggle these escrows. I feel like I'm not married, but I'm married to my clients for 30, 45 days. So I'm like, okay, do I really want to work with you for the next 30, 45 days? Like, I really got to make sure that we're on board here and we're, our expectations are right, because otherwise you may be better off working with somebody else. But man, that is super important, right? Like super important that you guys attach a goal and the vision as to why you guys are doing what you're doing, because being a parent, sometimes we'll just question. I mean, I know sometimes I question, like, is what I'm doing, is even the podcast, like, worth it? Like, but it's all momentum. It's all going to work out, right? And it's all something that I know. I believe in a system. And I believe in consistency more than anything, right? But dude, that's amazing because I do the same thing. I attach the goals, and Alex is part of my team, and I tell him, look, if I'm out working, if mom's doing this, it's because we got to do this, right? And I have my 5-year goal, and I want my, we'll talk about, we'll pivot into the whole ADU hot topic. But as you know, I kind of positioned myself as that ADU realtor, and I've dedicated the last couple years, positioning myself in that way, because I feel like as a realtor, if somebody would have told me you need a niche down on something, I would have done that since the beginning. That part. Like if somebody would have told me that, I would have been doing ADUs or whatever that niche was since I started. Because then you have a solution for people who have a problem, right? And when I was showing homes all the time, a lot of buyers, I was with Ray under the Mira real estate team. So I was a buyer's agent working with a whole bunch of buyers, and everybody kept asking like, hey, what can I do with this backyard? What can I do with this big lot? What can I do with that? And I felt like as a realtor, how can I not think outside the box for my clients, right? So that's what led to this whole ADU movement. And I will have my goals of how many ADUs I want in 5 years, right? And I tell Alex that, and even though he's 8, I share those goals with him. So again, showing him how to attach the vision, because the motivation can only take you so far. And me sitting here telling you got to do this and that can only take you so far, right? And if you have nothing attainable, nothing to really keep you there, like why are we doing what we're doing? So tell me, what do you think about this whole ADU stuff? What's your take on it? I mean, for those who follow me on the podcast, you guys know what ADUs are. They're accessory dwelling units. And if you're not familiar with it, check out some of the other podcasts where I really dive deep into exactly what the strategy is and how everybody can implement it, which is why I'm so loud about it. But I know you and Joy also talk a lot about it. So, and even with the team. So what's like the conversation that's happening around ADUs?
To bring it back to like being part of Springboard, Thatch's kind of group, that's all it is. It's maximizing and forcing value onto properties and really getting your really best bang for your buck in that regard. I think for once a hype in real estate is actually real, and it's actually something to be taken very seriously, because we are in a huge housing crisis. We do not have enough houses to pay for, to have everyone live in. So we need to be creative here, and not only for the people that are around you, but also for the homeowner. A lot of times as first time home buyers, you're buying property and it's not your dream house, but it's definitely kind of close, and you're gonna live there from 2.5 to maybe 5 years, and you're going to want to get out of that. But what are we going to do in order to really maximize and force value onto your property? ADU is one of the best ways to do that. Not only could it be an office space, it could be so many things for you. It could be family. It can be rental income for you. It could be whatever you want it to be. And it will increase the value of the property so much more, especially if it's done. Not just an option, but if it's a done property. Oh my God. Like it's one of the most amazing things. Whenever I go into something and I see an attached or detached garage, it's always like, well, this is what you can do here. Yes, maybe the carpets are not as bad, but there's hardwood floors underneath, or you can really be creative and think about what your buyer needs to have in order to be like, okay, then let's talk about ADU. Let's talk about how we can maximize the growth here in your real estate and make this as much of an asset as possible for you. Because at the end of the day, it's an asset, guys. It's an investment. And the buying and hold is where it's at right now. And once you get into real estate, do not wait. Get into real estate. If you need time to save money for that ADU, speak to your agents like Stephanie, and speak to people that are experts in that field. So because there's a lot of people that don't know as much as like a Stephanie does. And it's really important to really understand what it's like to maximize that growth in your real estate. I love ADUs and dadus and all of that.
You nailed it with the forced appreciation. That right there, that part. And I forgot, why didn't we bring up the fact that you mentor as well? So how important is mentorship? You and your husband both are doing mentorship with Springboard, which is with Thatch, and he's an awesome real estate investor who literally talks about this ADU strategy day in, day out. I think it's a great strategy for homeowners, potential homeowners, so buyers, investors. I'm even talking to real estate developers on the multifamily space, because this ADU strategy is for both residential and multifamily. So, you talk about wanting to maximize the sale of your home, let's consider selling it with ADU pre-approved plans, right? You want to buy a house and you want to tap into this market, then let's consider the option of buying a property with the intent of, you know, building or converting an ADU so it can help you offset your mortgage. Now you're helping people not only think as first-time home buyers, but you're helping them shift from first-time home buyer to investor. And then they really appreciate that, you know. So in some of these ADU webinars, I have one tomorrow actually at 12. That's what I do, and I welcome other realtors because it's all a networking community that I'm trying to build, right? A safe space where we can all connect and help each other out. Like, hey, where you got a client out in Hollywood, do they need help with this? How can we help you, right? And same goes for my market. I've sent clients out to Bakersfield because Vanessa lives in Bakersfield. Although she doesn't work that area, she lives there. And so who else, I mean, to send these leads to? I think it's also a great strategy for sellers who want to move to the outer cities. Like, I've noticed that there was a big shift of movement, right? A lot of people leaving the inner city, going out to the outskirts of LA, which would be Bakersfield, Riverside, you know, Joshua Tree, all these areas, Palm Springs. So people are willing to drive out so that, one, they have more space, right? They have that fourth bedroom as an office space or whatever the case may be. So I think that's also great. I mean, Vanessa and I, our intent is to help some of these homeowners who are moving from LA. If they're moving out to Bakersfield, we can facilitate the sale, right? But always throwing in. I was talking to a seller yesterday and I talked about the ADU strategy because he's like, how else do you think we can maximize the sale? I'm looking to move out to North Carolina. And I brought up the ADU thing again. I was like, so if you look at this option, most buyers, what do most buyers hate? They hate going to the city. They hate having to deal with permits. So if you can actually present the property as if it's already ADU approved and you facilitated that process for the buyer, they're going to be willing to pay more all day.
All day. All day.
I don't know.
No, especially as housing gets more expensive too. And the baby boomers are kind of needing to downsize. And I just experienced this actually with a new client, with a friends of mine that actually purchased a home. They purchased at the top value because they had a detached garage and they converted it into an ADU where her mother, who was renting a house and the house was being sold. And so we had to negotiate that to make sure she got funds. She implemented her funds into what she got from the rental part into this ADU. And it was an amazing, but thinking about outside the box, you have a detached garage, utilize that for either anyone that needs it for your rental income. And when you go to your resale, it's just unbelievable. When people look at an ADU, they think about all the potential. It takes away so much anxiety of mortgage that you're like, oh my God, I can actually utilize this and make this much money from it. And I'm actually spending less than what I would if I rented in LA, which went up 30% in the last 2 months. So we have to think outside the box, guys, in real estate. And especially if you're buying in a hot market like Los Angeles. I'm not gonna lie, as we know, it's very expensive. But what can we do to empower you guys in order to feel that you could do this? This is a real thing. You can do this. And yes, there's people that are moving out to gain equity and to exercise that part and to move back to LA with a bunch of cash and be able to really invest in their dream home. But they're taking those big loss, especially with the SB9 aspect that's going around. There's so many opportunities, and there's so much power in owning real estate and being able to maximize that wealth for you guys. And that's what we're here for. That's what we love. Believe it or not, it's not just about the sale. It's about long-term vision. We're your realtors for life. We want to be the ones you call when you're like, hey, I'm looking at updating. What's going to be my best rate of return? Let's walk through. Does the kitchen need some updating? Can an ADU be an option? How big is your lot? These are things that as realtors we see in the market trends. So we're able to really give you that great perspective. And ADUs are fantastic ways to really enhance your resale.
I love it. I mean, I think it's a great. I can't. You know me. I talk about it all day, every day. My mission is to bring awareness, because I'm not really selling the ADUs, right? I'm not the GC. I'm not the project manager. I'm not the structural engineer. I'm not the architect. I'm the person, the realtor. That's really, I think, that's my value proposition to the market. That's your value proposition to the market, is that we're thinking outside the box. We're getting creative. We're helping people think outside the box in this competitive market due to the housing shortage. I don't think this year will be the same thing. We're going to be very competitive. I think because of the ADU strategy, a lot of people are willing to pay more. So it just creates more of that competition as well, you know. So I don't see it slowing down, even with rates creeping up at 4%. Historically, right? They've been at 8 or 10% within the last like 10 years. And so if you think of it that way, 4% is still not bad, right? And honestly,
no, it's really not bad.
You start thinking about ways to invest, you know, for those who didn't see it coming or didn't even see the thought or the possibility. You start talking ADUs and they finally see the light. They're like, oh wait, I can actually have a $2,000 payment that I've been wanting. Yeah, I mean, average payments are $3,400, but if you rent out the ADU for $15,000, then guess what? You got your $2,000 payment that you want. Then I map it out that way, and they're like, oh, I never thought about it that way. You know, so that's part of our job, and I think that's one way to vet out the realtors that you choose to work with, or if you're a new realtor thinking of getting into a team. Kyle does an amazing job. I saw the live that he did with Eric, and he keeps himself updated with the whole ADU movement. That was dope, huh? That was dope. Yeah, I really, I'm super proud of everything that you've done. This is episode 12, girl. So think back to episode 1. I was looking at the video, dude. I was looking at the video, and I was like, we were so like cut and dry, you know. We're like, yeah, motherhood and real estate, and let's go.
I know. We're like, what is
yeah, the growth is real. I noticed it after the video, but I gotta say, you know, I'm super proud of all your accomplishments. You're fucking killing it, dude. And I wanted to dedicate this podcast to you because, you know, I love you. One of the best things that I did last year was go to her wedding. Dude, I had the freaking time of my life, and I'm talking about it because I'm gonna add it in the videos here as part of the show. I wanna highlight that. I mean, dude, I had so much fun at that wedding.
Oh my God, you look so beautiful. I was like, holy shit, Stephanie. I was like, wow, we were just dancing. We had so much fun. Like, oh my God, your presence there was so neat. I'm so happy you came. That was so much fun.
I had so much fun. So I gotta say thank you for that. Thank you for the friendship. Thank you for, you know, for the support.